Good afternoon. So, how many of you are planning to come for offline classes next week? Saurabh, Ajwal, am I audible? So, next Tuesday, we have offline lecture?
Ma'am, is it possible to take it in hybrid mode?
If it's hybrid mode, then again in the classroom, I'll be carrying this laptop and my tablet and writing the same thing. If it is completely offline, then I can use at least Blackboard and chalk.
Ma'am, can you continue hybrid till 10th April because some of the students are coming on 8th and 9th because they did not get reservation.
But you had this information long back, right? That you have to come from 21st of March.
Yes, ma'am, but
You knew
we
first
did
week
not get
of
the time we got the notice of offline classes compulsory from 1st April 1 week back only.
yeah, because nobody was turning up, and so there was this notice of compulsorily attending it. We thought students
Uh,
are too enthusiastic to come to the campus, and so if we give 21st, everybody would be here on 22nd. And we were surprised to see that nobody was coming.
Ma'am, even if it was not compulsory, students, especially students from UP and Bihar, they did not get reservations till 10th April.
Okay. Okay, we'll see what is the number in the class accordingly. We'll manage. Okay. So I'm going slow because I want to start next topic in a physical mode in the next class. Anyway, we are left with only two topics. One is couplings and second is wire rope. And then we'll be solving assembly type of problems. Okay, 79. Let's start. We go with the next question on ball bearing. All of you are expected to post answers in the group. Write down. Find the mean load find the mean load for a spherical roller bearing series 22210C when operated under the fluctuating load conditions. fluctuating load conditions. There are 5 different stages in which the load is fluctuating. Operating for different time, where radial load FR and axial load FA are also varying. And for different... Hello? Am I clearly audible? Okay. 5%, 10%, 60%, 15% of the time, and the remaining 10% of the time. So out of total 100% of the time, this is the distribution. So for 5% of the total operation, the radial load is 10 kilonewton. Axial load is 2 kilonewton, rotating at 1200 RPM. 12 kilonewton, 4 kilonewton, rotating at 1000 RPM. 20 and 6, rotating at 800 RPM. 25 kilonewton radial, 7 kilonewton axial, rotating at 600 RPM. 30 and 10, 400 RPM. We have to solve 2 problems at least. So make sure you are doing it as fast as possible. We have to find the mean load for this variation, which means we have to find out what is the equivalent load for each cycle. Okay, so refer design data book for spherical roller bearing 2210C series. Give me what is the value of E. Refer the design data book. So this is the data given. We have to find out what is FA by FR and whether it is less than or greater than E for each case. What is the value of E given? Page number 4.4, PSD design data book. It is 0.23, and we have to see whether FA by FR is less than E or greater than E, for which we'll need these values. So give me quickly for I equal to 1, what is FA by FR? Answers quickly, please. .2. Next, for I equal to 2, 4 by 12. .33. Next, I equal to 3, 6 by 20. 0.3. Next, 7 by 25. 0.28. Next, 1 by 3. 0.33. Which means the value of FA by FR for few instances is less than E and for others greater than E. Which means the value of X and Y will also keep changing. We need X and Y for finding out the equivalent load. So here when FA by FR is 0.2 and this is less than E, what is X and Y? If FA by FE is less than E for 2210C series, what are X and Y? One and 2.9. And for all the cases, it is the remaining four cases, FA by FR is greater than E. So what is X and Y for the remaining cases? What is X and what is Y? .67 and 4.4. Same. So give me FE for each case now. Aman Pradhan is there. Roll number 121. Has he attended any of the lectures? Ujjwal, Prathamesh? Ujjwal? Prathamesh? As per my attendance, it is 0. Just in case I have missed. So is roll number 121. So 120, 122 if they know. Okay, not a single class. Okay. Yeah, so you have to give me the value of FE equivalent load, which is X times FR plus Y times FA. Nothing is mentioned about the conditions for K0, K1, K2, K3. So we are assuming everything to be 1. So give me FE for I1. .8 is that FE for I1. Okay. Everything in kilonewtons. For 2, 25.64. For 3, 39.8. Good, that was quite quick. For 4, I equal to 4, 47.5. Perfect. Next, 5. That was very fast, Utkarsh. 64.1. We have to also find out what is n. For each of these values, what is n? N1, N2, N3, N4. So for 5% of the total time running at 1200 RPM, how many revolutions it is going? We have to fix up some time. Suppose we are taking an operation for say 24 hours or for 1 hour or for 30 minutes. So we have to fix up some time. So for 1 hour, what is the average load or the mean load? Let us assume this operation time is 1 hour. So that will simplify the things. So the RPM for I1 is 1200, which means in 1 minute it is having 1200 revolutions. So in 1 hour it is having 60 into 1200 revolutions. And 5% of this time, how many revolutions? This is N1. Similarly, N2 would be 60 minutes. Each minute for I2 it is rotating at 1000 RPM. And 10% of this 1 hour, this is having these many revolutions. Similarly, 60 minutes rotating at 800 RPM, and out of those 60 minutes, 60% of the time it is rotating at 800 RPM. Are you getting this? So for 1 hour, 60 minutes, in 1 minute, 600 revolutions for I equal to 4. And out of 1 hour, 15% of the time, how many revolutions? Similarly, 60 into this is 400, 10% of the time. Problems are not very difficult, just that they are of different types. So give me N1, N2, N3 quickly. Yes, so this is up to 600 revolutions. N1, N2 is 6000 revolutions. Good. N3. Oh, very fast. So this is 28800. Next is 5400. The last one is 2400. And now how do you get the mean load? If you have FE1, FE2, FE3 and N1, N2, N3, how do you get the mean load? Shubham? Shubham? How do you find the mean load for this variation? How do you find the mean load for this variation? Tanvi? F1 N1 plus F2 N2 by 3? Fe raised to 3 into N. Is that correct? It's the cube root of what? Cube root of partial cube root of summation of Fe cube into N upon sigma N. This is not ball bearing, this is roller bearing. Can you make the correction in this statement? Whatever expression you have given. How is ball bearing different from roller bearing? Yes. Instead of 3, it becomes 3.3, and instead of taking the cube root, you will have to take the mean load will be Fe1 raised to 3.3 multiplied by N1 plus this Fe5 raised to 3.3 into N5 upon summation of N, this whole raised to 3 by 10. So instead of cube root, it is this root of summation of Fe raised to 3.3 into N upon summation of N. So instead of 3, this becomes 3.3. So cube root is, you write it down as 1 by 3, and if it is 3.3th root, you write down 3 upon 10. Is that correct? Pradyumna, is that correct? Pradyumna, you are from Access Core team. Okay. Give me the answer. It is 10 by 33. Square root of A is written as A raised to 1 by 2, right? So this is square root of 10 by 3, root over 10 by 3. So this would be written as A raised to 3 by 10. Is that 41.16? Is that a final answer everyone is getting? This is the answer from Harshal. 39.45. I think you will get this much variation whether you take it 10 by 3 or 3.3 or 3.333. So accordingly you will get this variation. Depending upon how many decimals you are taking 3 by 10. So from this mean load, now you can calculate what is the life. I want you to do another problem. One last problem from bearings. Should we go for next? This formula for variable loading, this is also given in this PSG design data book. Somewhere it is mentioned that the formula will use K equal to 3 for ball bearing and K equal to 10/3 for roller bearing. And then for the cubic mean load, formula is given on page number 4.2. So if we are done with this, we are going for the next question. A cross section of an industrial car and the loading for its axle the cross section of a car, industrial car axle and its loading is shown in the figure. I'm repeating, a cross section of an industrial car and the loading of one axle is shown in the figure. Based on the loading conditions, find the expected life of a 6310 bearing. Rotating at 300 RPM. Assume moderate shock load. This is a shaft. With these ball bearings. This shaft is carrying a gear here such that there is a load at this direction and there is another load in this direction. This angle is 15 degrees. So is this angle also 15 degrees. This angle. This load is 45 kilonewton. This is Give me a minute, please. This is 4.5. Distances are given. This is 600 mm and this is 1200 mm. Let me draw another figure here. This is 600 and this is 1200 here. There is only one load which is at 45 at an angle of 15 degrees. This is confusing. Allow me to erase this. This is 4.5 kilonewton load. There was some printing mistake in the book that I am referring. So this time, sorry for this. Okay, so now this is a shaft having supported with the two bearings. The shaft has a gear and this gear has a resultant load of 4.5 kilonewton, which is acting at an angle of 15 degrees from vertical. We have to see what are its radial and axial components and what are the reactions at the bearings. So this is the left bearing. This is the right bearing. What is its cause component? Which one is causing its axial and which one is its radial component? its cos component 4.5 cos 15. This is causing axial loading or radial loading on the bearings. And its sine component, whether that is axial or radial. So its cos component, that is the vertical component, that is responsible for the radial loading on the bearing, and its horizontal component, that is responsible for the axial loading. Now you have to be very careful. This axial load is taken either by left bearing or by right bearing. There is only one force, so that has to be completely taken by the left bearing or by the right bearing. So normally whichever one is closer, we assume that the entire axial load is taken by that bearing. So radial load gets resolved into the two bearings, its reaction, but not for the axial component. So what is the radial component of total radial component of the load? 4.5 cos of 15, which is how much? And what is the total axial load? So radial is 4.35, axial is 1.16. Okay, and if I resolve and to get the reactions at R1 and R2 or RL and RR, give me the reaction here, the left bearing and the reaction on the right bearing. By taking the moments, distances are given. This is for the radial component. On the left side. On the right, this is 1.448. Let me take it 1.45 on the left. .35 minus this, 2.89, 2.9. So you see this left bearing, this is having more radial load as compared to the right bearing because this load is concentrated or this is located closer to the left bearing. When we are designing the assembly, if the distances are given of the gear from the right hand and the left hand of end of the shaft, then you go with this. Otherwise, by default, we assume that the gear is located at the center. But here, since it is given, you know that this left bearing is closer to the load, so the reaction is higher here. And since we have to design the bearing for the worst condition and the extreme condition, we assume that the axial load is also on the same bearing, which means we are designing the bearing BL. We are designing the bearing, left bearing BL, which is subjected to a radial load of 2.9 kilonewton and an axial load of how much? 1.16. Now this is like a simple problem that we are solving. Whatever is the axial thrust coming on the shaft, that is not resolved. So this thrust is either here the thrust is in this direction, right? which is trying to move the shaft in this direction. So either this bearing is stopping or this bearing is holding the shaft in its position. So whatever kind of axial load is there, during the time of design, we assume that this entire thrust is taken only by one bearing. That is not shared by both of them. So either it is getting pushed here or it is getting pulled over here. Okay. So this is 6310 deep groove ball bearing. What is the value for E? FA by FR. Let us refer Shivalkar design data book here. ED Shivalkar data book. This is the reaction on the left bearing because of radial load. And what am I doing? And this is the reaction on the right bearing because of the radial load. Reaction on the left bearing because of radial load and the reaction on the right bearing because of the radial load. Is that wrong? Is this? This is right and this is left, huh? We are taking the reactions only for the radial load. So the reaction due to the radial load on the left bearing is higher, on the right bearing it is lesser. Correct? So for deep groove ball bearing, what is the value of E given in Shivalkar design data book? (0.25). What is FA by FR here? 1.16 upon 2.9. FA by FR 0.4. So FA by FR is greater than E. So what is X and what is Y? If FA by FR is greater than E, value of X is 0.56. Value of Y is 1.6. Yeah, FE X times FR plus Y times FA. Oscillation factor, if nothing is given, we assume it is rotating at constant speed. Assuming no preloading, Kp as 1. Assuming, what do you want to assume for the race? Outer race and inner race? Which one you want to be fixed? Let the outer race be fixed, so this value becomes
pages and within pages one.
Let us assume the rotational factor also as 1 and service condition for moderate shock, that is 2. Kr is 1 and Ks is 2. You can assume 90% reliability. So your reliability factor is also 1. Give me the value for Fe. .96 kilonewton. Now how do you find the life, Amir? What next? Rushika? We have to get the value of C. To get the value of life, which is C by Fe whole cube, we have to get the dynamic load carrying capacity for this deep groove ball bearing. For 6318, 6 is the series, 6 indicates deep groove ball bearing, 3 is the series. So check for 0102 03XX for bore number 18. कितना है bore number 10 or 18? (6310) bore number 10. So shaft diameter is 50. For 03 series, what is the value of C? From the Shivalkar design data book, refer 03XX series for bore number 10. C is 48,000 kilonewton, 48,000 Newton. Convert this also into newtons or convert this into kilonewton, take it 48. Give me the life. Give me life in revolutions and life in hours. These many million revolutions. Is that 328? These many. Either you write down into 10 raised to 6 revolutions or you write down 328 million revolutions. Quickly give me the life in hours. This is the L10 life in revolutions. What is its life in hours? These many revolutions. The speed is given as 300 RPM. So in 1 minute, 300 revolutions. And if you want to find out in 1 hour, it is in 60 minutes how many revolutions. This would be the life in hours. 18222 hours. Here only the load factor was given, so we have assumed the service for moderate shock as 2. If you consider other things, if you assume the outer race fixed, inner race rotating, or inner race fixed, outer race rotating, this value increases. Similarly, reliability we have taken as 90%. If you take something else, this further increases, and as the load increases, the value of Fe increases, C remains the same. Fe goes on increasing, the life will go on reducing. So whatever is given in the problem statement, that you must consider. Other parameters are as per your choice. You are free to consider it to be 1 or 1.2 or 1.5, but whatever you are considering, you must mention. You are assuming K0 as 1, which means the speed is constant. Or you are assuming Kp as 1, which means there is no preloading, or Kr as 1, 1.5. So that is a good design practice. It's not the answer which matters, because somebody might use some preloading, and so the answer would be different. But this tells the valuer that you know the complete design procedure. And hence, in any of the design problem, answer rarely matters. What really matters is what you are assuming, on what basis you are assuming. If the problem statement is given, say if it's an industrial car, and if it's an industrial car, that means there is bound to be a lot of shocks. So even if the moderate shock condition is not given over there, you have to assume that there would be some shock. So this tells, or this explains your understanding of the subject. So that's all about bearings. Next class, we'll start with couplings and then the wire rope design, and few lectures on the complete assembly design, which will take at least 2 hours. So same problem will continue in 2 to 3 lectures. So looking forward to see most of you in the physical mode in the next class, Tuesday's lecture. That's all from my end. Feel free to ask queries if you have any. Amey, any doubts? Amey? No. Tanvi? Shravya? Shravya, everything is clear? Only with 4 or 5 questions? Ambika? Very smart batch. Well, thank you.